Hi, I'm Zach Tomic. I'm the creator of Bigfoot board game. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys a closer look at the player boards. Take a look at the scouting dice and these fancy schmancy handbooks. Whoa! That's fancy! Okay, so here's a look at the player board. The top half of the player board is the inside cab of your truck. This is where you'll store all your extra cubes and your money and things like that. You also have your gas tank up here in the cab. And then down below on this half of the board is the bed of the truck, where we've got our backpack, our condition tracks, our evidence track, and our experience track. And we'll go into more detail on those in just a second here. All right, so let's take a closer look here at the cab of the truck. And like I said earlier, up here we've got our fuel tank or fuel gauge. And this will help you keep track of how much fuel you have. As you travel around the map throughout the game, you're going to discard fuel cubes, and you'll always be able to refuel at the country store back in town. The other thing that the cab of the truck is used for is just storing all your extra parts. So your extra cubes, your hiking meeple, he's going to go there. Any money that you have is going to go in the cab of your truck. And that is what that section of the board is used for. Okay, so let's look at the backpack now. The backpack is used for one thing, and that is storing item tokens that you buy at the store. So you buy apples, let's say you have bullets, you got your matches, some marshmallows. Those will all go into your backpack here. And as you can see, the backpack only has room for 9 tokens. So that is your limit. Once you have a full backpack, you can't carry any more. Okay, so now let's take a look at the condition tracks here. We've got 3 of them. And at the start of the game, you'll put one of your cubes at the top of each track. And each track represents a different condition. The first track here represents your stamina. The second track with the skunk represents your hygiene. And the last track with the heart represents your courage. And throughout the game, these tracks are going to move up and down, depending on how your game is going. And the further down they go, the harder it will become for you to scout for Bigfoot evidence. So your goal throughout the game is going to be to keep these up in the green, keep your condition good as you try to track down Bigfoot. Okay, the last 2 things we got to look at here are the evidence track and the experience track. At the start of the game, you don't put a cube on your evidence track until you actually find evidence, so you just set one there. But your experience track, you will set that to 0 at the start. And then throughout the game, as you roll your scouting dice and you roll prints on those dice, that counts for evidence. And for each print you roll, you will get to increase this track. And if you see here at the end of the track, we have a red square with the magnifying glass. Once you reach that track, it will allow you to look at one of the location cards around the board. And the red indicates that you will get to increase your experience by 1. And once you've looked at that card, this track will reset. And so throughout the game, you're going to be moving up this track. Your experience will be increasing as you go. And the more experience you get, once you reach 40%, it allows you to re-roll one of your scouting dice. 70% is going to allow you to re-roll 2 of them. And at 100%, you can re-roll all 3 scouting dice each time you do a scouting roll. All right, so now let's take a closer look at the scouting dice. There are 3 dice of each color: green, yellow, and red. On the green dice, there's the magnifying glass, prints, and money. On the yellow dice, there's prints, and there's money. On the red dice, there's prints, money, leaves, and Bigfoot. Now let's look at what each symbol means. Rolling a magnifying glass will allow a player to look at one of the 9 location cards around the board. When prints are rolled, the player will increase their evidence track by 1 for each print rolled. Rolling the money symbol means the player gets to collect 1 silver coin for each money symbol they roll. The leaf symbols represent medicinal plants and allow the player to increase any of their condition tracks by 1 for each leaf that is rolled. Lastly, the Bigfoot symbol. This symbol means that a player must advance Bigfoot along his track by 1 for each Bigfoot rolled. Okay, so we've taken a look at the player boards now and the scouting dice, and now we're going to take a look at how scouting works. Okay, so when you're in a location that has an activity marker in it, that means that there has been Bigfoot activity in that location, and you will be able to scout the area for evidence. So the way we do this is, the first step is to remove the activity marker from that location, place it back down here on the board, and then we're gonna roll 3 scouting dice, and we're gonna have to look at our condition track to determine which colors we're gonna roll. So let's look at our condition track here. As you can see, our current stamina is down in yellow. Our current hygiene is up here in the green. And our courage is currently down in red. So that means we're gonna roll 1 dice for each track. So that means we'll be rolling 1 yellow dice, 1 green dice, and 1 red dice. Okay, so we've got our yellow, green, and red dice here. I'm going to go ahead and give them a roll. And what we've rolled here is a magnifying glass, some prints, and a Bigfoot. Okay, one quick note. If you look at my experience track right now, it's at 40%, which means I have the option to re-roll one of my scouting dice. Now, because I don't want to advance Bigfoot on his track, and I have enough experience to re-roll 1 dice, I'll re-roll the red. Now, let's just say for the sake of this video that I had rolled the leaves, which are there. So the leaves will allow me to improve my condition tracks. The prints will allow me to increase my evidence track, and the magnifying glass lets me look at one of the location cards around the board. Okay, let's start with the leaves. I can increase any of my condition tracks by 1 for each leaf on the dice. So I can choose to increase each condition track by 1 separately, like that. Or if I wanted to, I could use all 3 of those leaves to increase 1 condition track by 3. Or I can increase 1 by 2 and another one by 1. It's up to you how you choose to use them. All right, next we'll look at the prints that we rolled. And these are real simple. You're just going to increase your evidence track for each print on the dice. So here we've got 3 prints. We're gonna increase this track by 3. 1, 2, 3, and that is it. All right, let's look at the magnifying glass now. This symbol lets me look at one of the location cards that are all around the board. I get to pick any of them. And just for this example, we'll choose this card here. And you wanna make sure you keep these cards secret from the other players around the board. All right, so let me show you what you do with these location cards. Once you pick the card you wanna look at, you're gonna take your decoder, or your handbook, I guess the decoder is on the inside. We're gonna open it up. And remember, this is all gotta be kept secret from the other players. Take your location card, turn it face up with all the symbols, slide it underneath the decoder here, and find the symbol that lines up, which in this case, you can see the pine cone is the symbol that lines up, and only one symbol should match it. There should be no other symbols matching. Once you figure out which one it is, so it's this one here, we're gonna take our dry erase marker. I'm just gonna mark that symbol off on your decoder. And it's a process of elimination. The goal is to get all but 3 symbols eliminated from this decoder. One quick note about the decoder. If you'll notice, each symbol is on here twice. So we've marked off 1 pine cone down here, but there's still another pine cone up here. So we haven't fully eliminated the pine cone symbol yet. If we pull another card and we get this pine cone up here, then we'll know that the pine cone has been eliminated from our hunt. Okay, so here's an example of a decoder toward the end of the game. We've got all of the symbols marked off, all but 3 have been eliminated, and now we can use those 3 to figure out where Bigfoot's hiding. So what we have here is the squirrel, a tree, and some tall grass, and we've got to take a look now at the game board and find a location that has those 3 symbols, and we'll know that's Bigfoot's location. So if you look here up at Kodiak Mountain, location 12, you can see we've got the tree, the tall grass, and the squirrel. So we know that's where Bigfoot's hiding. Well, there you have it. We've seen how the player boards work. I've shown you the scouting dice and the decoders. And if you take the time to master those skills, you could someday be as good a Bigfoot hunter as me. I mean, not to brag, but I'm pretty good. I don't think Bigfoot's gonna be sneaking up on me anytime soon. Anyway, if you like the game and you want to learn more about it, go to flyingguygames.com and check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bigfoot sneaking up on me.